Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blue Collar Workers. This is podcast 4, season 3 of the Blue Collar Workers. As always, your voice, your nation. I'm Sean, John or Yahya, depends on who you're asking. And as always is my ride or die,
Chris.
And if we ever get shot at, as he has always screamed, like straight out of Bad Boys, you're the reason I'm getting shot at. This week has been insane in politics. If you've not been under a bloody rock, here's what's been going on for you on my side. Trade war is in no one's interest, says the PM, in facing Trump's threats. Was he looking too weak on his response? I genuinely think he was. Blair and Rubio among the names of senior executives on Gaza's board of peace. This is a joke. A war criminal Blair being given anything makes me sick. Reform is not a rescue charity for panicking Tory MPs, Farage says. Who is he joking? The man's whole party is made up of failed Tories who want hard Brexit, hard immigration control that would destroy our country. And from the Independents, I've got to finish up with Trump's tariffs. Threats on Greenland is a golden opportunity for, as far as the Independents are concerned, for Stemmer. It's time to rejoin the EU. Over on Chris.
I've got Bennock reckons we will become Trump's poodle.
We already are.
And literally, that's regarding obviously defence spending. Ed Miliband and the new car tax. His plans have gone up the creek due to it. New boiler design in the works by ex-Dyson engineers. That is going to rival the heat pumps. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And just because I thought it would be a bit of comical value, aliens and financial crisis. And this has come from the Bank of England.
My God.
Yeah. And latest on the digital ID, government making a U-turn on digital ID being mandatory, and what is actually changed regarding the digital ID.
Not as much as I'd like. Certainly not as much as Chris would like. So, from Prime Minister Poodle, Prime Minister Poodle Stemmer, has said a trade war is in no one's interest after Donald Trump threatened to impose a 10% tax on imports from the UK and other countries who opposed his plan to take control of Greenland. Making a speech in Downing Street, Sir Kerr, why the fuck did anyone knight him, said that the right approach was through calm discussions and that the use of tariffs against allies was not the right way to resolve differences. My problem with you, Keir Stemmer, Poodle in the 10 Downing Street, is the fucking goddamn useless excuse of a Conservative leader agrees with you. So if the Conservative leader is agreeing with you, we have come somewhere extremely wrong. He reiterates his belief that the decision about the island should rest with the people of Greenland and Denmark. Principles cannot be set aside, he said, but he vowed to take a pragmatic approach, emphasising both the economic and military importance of the UK-US relationship. No, I think we should ditch it with Trump there. I think there should be some consequences, even if it's difficult for us to deal with. While seeking to diffuse tensions, the Prime Minister stressed that the situation was very serious and that it was a moment for the whole country to pull together. He welcomed the support he had received from the Conservative leader. Are you fucking smoking something? Do you not see a fucking red flag as the leader of the Labour Party? Support he had received from the Conservative leader Kemi Bennock on the issues of Greenland and seeking to calm some discussions, critiques those who think an angry social media post or grandstanding is a substitution for hard work. It may make politicians feel good, but it does nothing for working people whose jobs, livelihoods and security rely on the relationships we build across the world. Yes, around the world, not with just nutcase Trump. Defending his decision to pursue a closer relationship with Trump, the Prime Minister said it had delivered hundreds of billions of pounds of investment in the UK. He's a psychopath. A fucking pirate. Asked if he would consider imposing retaliatory tariffs, the Prime Minister replied, "We have not got to that stage. My focus is making sure we don't get to that stage." European leaders are expressing to raise the future of Greenland with Trump this week when he travels to Davos for the World Economic Forum gathering. The Prime Minister is not currently due to attend, but remains an option of the weekly progress. Over the week, a small French military contingent travelled to Greenland as part of a so-called reconnaissance mission. The deployment also involved German, Swedish, Norwegian, Finnish, Netherlands and the UK. Asked if Trump had incorrectly interpreted the visit as a hostile act towards the US, Sir Keir said, "This is one of the things I discussed with President Trump yesterday." You mean you stuck your tongue up his ass? Oh, please don't blame us, Mr. Trump. We're only trying to defend our longest fucking ally before your country was born. You fucking shit stain. Those forces were clearly there to assess and work on the risks from Russia. There is a real clarity, I hope, about that. Earlier in the news conference, Sir Keir said Europe needed to step up and do more on its own defences and security. We all do. We all need to kick fucking America to the curb. The US president has partly justified his interest in controlling Greenland by arguing that Denmark has not done enough to protect the area from Russian threats. Located between North America and the Arctic, Greenland is a useful base for early warning systems for missiles attacks as well as monitoring vessels in the region. It is also a potential source of rare earths, minerals as well as oil and gas, all of which could become more accessible as global warming leads to the melting of the ice sheets that cover the island.
Hang on, right. He says it's a threat from threat for Russia, yeah?
Not.
No, hang on, I just want to get this point across. Was it not not Atlantis? Alaska is part of the USA / Canada, yeah? That
Right next door to fucking Russia.
is closer to Russia than Greenland is. You're already next door. Carry on.
Trump has said complete and total purchase of Danish territory is essential for US and global security. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. He has warned. On Saturday, he said he would place a 10% tariff levy on goods exported to the US from UK, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, Netherlands and Finland. The tax would come into force on the 1st of February, rising 25% on the 1st of June. If Trump does follow through on his threat to impose tariffs, it could damage the UK economy, whose biggest overseas customer in terms of individual companies is the US. Economists have estimated the new tariff could take off 0.5 of the GDP. Over the weekend, Bennock said she agreed with the Prime Minister on the sovereignty of Greenland, adding the tariff threat was a terrible idea.
Only damaging yourself with the tariff threat.
No, I think he's playing to the point that he believes that Europe's too weak to stand up to him.
He reckons he's already got Greenland.
Yeah, no, he does. He thinks that. Scottish First Minister John Sweeney also condemned the threats of tariffs, saying that there should not be a bargaining chip in place for reasonable dialogue between partners. Speaking to the BBC Breakfast, Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davis, who has repeatedly criticised the Prime Minister's effort to pursue a close relationship with the US President, duly fucking correct, urged the government to get tough on Donald Trump, adding, if you do that, he has a history of backing down. Unfortunately, up until now, our government has rolled over. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, this is not how you treat your best friends, adding that he would be having some words with members of Trump's team when he travels to Davos this week. He said that the Brexit means that the UK was free to negotiate directly with the US. Opinions? Fucking useless. Trump needs a smack in the face.
Trump is trying to insert his will because he thinks he's already got Greenland.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the reality is that Europe needs to have a quiet conversation with the Republicans and the Democrats. This is my theory. The European financial ministers need to summon the equivalent of the financial leaders of both the Republic and the Democratic Party and say to them, we carry trillions worth of your bonds in debt. We dump that on the market. You have a 1920 fucking goddamn collapse. Yes, that will hurt us and the world, but it is the equivalent of an economical bazooka that will put America on its fucking knees because she's almost spending $1 trillion of fucking goddamn Parliament on her debt repayments alone.
It would send a massive message. But
No, it would be a shockwave.
Yeah. But I would also have to turn around and say, if you're going to threaten that, you must be prepared for Russia and China to turn around and chip in on the other end.
Yeah, of course. But to be fair, I think the reality is you need to realise that if Europe's prepared to say it, Russia and China might get their knives out. And if that happens, it happens. America's collapse will be President Trump's own doing.
But I have a distinct feeling if we say that to Trump and China and Russia get their knives out, it won't be aimed at America.
It won't be aimed at us.
It will be aimed at us.
No. See, that's the thing. Russia doesn't.
Or just say they'll attempt, we'll deflect, and it'll go to America.
No. China doesn't want conflict in Europe. Europe is its market. Remember, China wants to replace America as the marketed leader in Europe. They don't want any war with us.
All right. Putin will get his knives out, and China will.
Have you seen the Russian population?
I was going to say, Putin would try to get his knives out and then realise he hadn't got any because he's wasted it on Ukraine.
He can't even take 2 provinces off. to say Ukraine is massive and that war is horrific and tragic, but I need to say this. Russia is failing to take 2 provinces off fucking goddamn Ukraine. He's got no chance against not even a united, a piecemeal fucking Europe. We stack our fighter bombers together, the entire army disintegrates.
We would do that as well. We don't want to send troops, just send the fighter jets, just wipe them out. But Trump needs to learn to stop overstepping. Because I don't know about you guys, but it's getting on my nerves.
We hold 700 billion, or 700 billion holds, or third largest around the world of US debt. 700 billion. 373 billion in Luxembourg. France holds 322 billion. Ireland and Belgium, Ireland would always be looking for a reason to punch America in the face. That's the Irish. Have 370 billion respectively. The overall Europeans drop 1.62 trillion of US debt in the market. The economy of America collapses. It's gone. It's just fucking gone.
I think it will start to collapse with just us dumping this fucking debt, let alone anything else. But I know, sorry, hang on, no. Keir Starmer's too much of Trump's poodle to do that.
Anyway, over to your side, my boy.
Kemi Benlock
What?
reckons will become Trump's poodle.
We already are. We have been since the Tories.
Kemi Benlock has warned against Britain becoming a poodle to Donald Trump while promising to rebuild the country's defences if she becomes Prime Minister, aimed at mounting global instability. The Tory leader also took aim at Reform UK, saying the party is afraid to speak seriously about hostile states. The comments come amid growing global instability, with Donald Trump threatening to hit the UK and Europe with fresh tariffs over their opposition to his threats to annex Greenland. Meanwhile, Ms Bennock's party has suffered a difficult week after Robert Jarrick defected to Reform. Oh, what a surprise. Speaking to the Telegraph, Ms Bennock warned Britain must invest in its defences to avoid being seen as weak on an international scale. Getting Britain working again means fixing our economy, fixing our country, and that means putting our national interests first and rebuilding our defences. The only thing I agree so far within that statement is that. That's the only thing so far. Otherwise, we'll end up being poodles to US annexes Greenland, and we're slapped with tariffs because we had not shown any strength, she said. It comes after Mr. Trump used a post on Truth Social to announce that 10% tariffs would come into effect on the 1st of February on Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, Netherlands and Finland. Oh look, everyone that's backing up Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if Trump's trying to slap a financial target on us for backing somebody up. Those tariffs would increase to 25% on the 1st of June and would continue until a deal is reached for the US to purchase Greenland, Mr. Trump said in the long-winded post in which he warned that China and Russia both want to control Greenland, which he claimed only US can prevent. That is bullshit. You're not the only bloody superpower. Ms Bennett also hit out at Mr. Jarrick's narrow, inward-looking and performative defection speech, noting that it failed to mention foreign affairs. Earlier this week, Mr. Jarrick used his speech to launch a stunning attack on his former party, saying it had betrayed its voters and members and was in denial or being dishonest about its record. But the Tory leader noted that the speech contained nothing about Russia's war in Europe, nothing about China's growing economy and security penetration, and nothing about Iran, North Korea, cyber welfare, AI, or the erosion of the rules-based order.
The rules-based order is fucked.
Yeah. Reform presents itself as insurgent and anti-establishment, yet it displays no serious interest in national security at all. It's not just the fact that their leader in Wales was talking about that was taking bribes from Russia, but they are afraid to speak seriously about hostile states, alliances, defense, intelligence, or economic security. When they aren't afraid, they don't know what to say, she added. Taking aim at Sir Keir Starmer's approach to foreign policy, Ms Bannock said, his failure on national security is different to that of reform, but just as dangerous. She said that the PM speaks in abstractions while allowing Chinese state influence in universities and infrastructure, Chinese intimidation and espionage on British soil, and strategic ambiguity on foreign policy that wills the ends of the rules-based framework, but not that means believing diplomacy alone will win. From news to She has a point.
Anything that involves reform having a backbone is non-existent. Let's be quite frank, reform are fucking slimy. Remember, just only 3 months ago, Nigel Farage was slagging off Jenkins. The guy he's just let into the party, calling him a great patriot and all that. He was slagging him off 3 months ago. There isn't a bone of integrity. Remember, look, people who watch out at a podcast, remember, there isn't a bone of integrity in any part of reform. They will scrimp, scrape, and fucking grab as many people as they can, and their entire party is made up of failed Tories.
Give it 3 months, and then reform will be injecting Jarek right out the door again.
Well, it depends if he tries to take over.
I can understand why some people would think to vote reform, because obviously we do need to make ourselves strong again. But the way reform's going about it will actually cause more harm than good.
You can't vote reform and actually believe that they're going to fix this country. Look at the lineup of ex-Tories who fucking failed our country that are taking on board. All of these ex-Tories are the people responsible for the collapse of 14 years of Tory. Like, the worst of the worst are in that party right now. I think people need to realise this. It's like a fucking rebranding. The Tory scum party, the Reform Party.
They jumped the ship that got sunk onto the next one, hoping it'll swim. Over to you.
Blair and Rubio among names of the senior executives on the Gaza's Board of Peace. The Trump administration has named US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and former UK Prime Minister Secretary Tony Blair as two of the members of the founding executive board of its Board of Peace for Gaza. Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, will also sit on the board, the White House said in a statement external on Friday. Trump will act as chairman of the board, which forms part of his 20-point plan to end the war between Israel and Hamas. He is expected to temporarily oversee the running of Gaza and manage its reconstruction. The exact structure of the Board of Peace is still to be clarified, but two separate senior boards have been officially unveiled. One is the founding executive board, which is a high-level focus on investment and diplomacy. The other, called the Gaza Executive Board, is responsible for overseeing all of the ground of work of yet another administration group, the National Committee for the Administrations of Gaza. Also on the founding executive board are Mark Rowan, the head of private equity firm World Bank chief Arjun Bajan, and the US National Security Advisor Robert Gabriel. Each member would have a portfolio critical to Gaza stabilization and long-term success, the White House statement said. The Board of Peace itself will be made up of heads of government who have yet to be formally announced. Trump has said on Thursday that the board have been called into the greatest and most prestigious board ever assembled at any time and any place. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has been asked by Trump to join the board and will accept the invitation, his office told the BBC. Argentina's President Javier Milei shared an image of an invitation to join the board on X, writing that it would be an honour to participate. Meanwhile, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has also been invited, the country's foreign minister said, adding, "We are studying the matter." So Tony was the UK Prime Minister from 1997 to 2007 and took the UK into the Iraq War in 2003. After leaving office, he served as Middle East envoy for a quadriad of international powers, the US, EU, Russia, and the UN. He worked for Russia. Tony fucking Blair was a Russian fucking goddamn agent. In this role, he focused on bringing economical development to the Palestinians and creating the conditions to move forward towards a two-state solution. So Tony has already been a part of high-level talks about Gaza's future with the US and other parties. In August, he joined a White House meeting with Trump to discuss plans for the territory, which Whitaker described as very comprehensive. In a statement, the former Prime Minister said he was honoured to be appointed and it has been a real privilege to work with Whitaker and Kushner so far. I look forward to working with them and other colleagues in line with the President's vision to promote peace and prosperity, so Tony said. He is the only founding member of the Executive Board who is not a US citizen. In September, Health Secretary Wes Sterling told the BBC that invoking Sir Tony in such talks gives his record on the Iraq War would raise some eyebrows. More than eyebrows, the man's a war criminal! He's a fucking war criminal. Killed 2 million Iraqis and nearly 300,000 British fucking soldiers. He's a cunt. But Steering also noted the former Prime Minister's role in brokering the 1998 Good Friday Agreement to end Northern Ireland's troubles. Bollocks. The agreement was there, he just was the Prime Minister in charge at the time. If he can bring those considerable skills through in both diplomacy and statecraft, Sterling told the BBC that they can only be a good thing. The man is a cretin and should be held as a war criminal. It comes after the announcement of a separate 15-member Palestinian Technocratic Committee, the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, charged with managing the day-to-day governances of the post-war Gaza. Al-Sharif, a former deputy minister in Palestinian authorities, which governs part of the occupied West Bank, now under Israeli control, will head that new committee. The statement also said that Nicholas Meltdown, a Bulgarian politician and former UN Middle East envoy, would be the board's representative of the ground in the Gaza work and the NCAG. Trump plans say an international stability force will also be deployed on Gaza to train and support vetted Palestinian police forces. And the White House statement said the US Major General Jasper Jarrett would head the force to establish security, preserve peace, and establish a durable terror-free environment. The White House said that a separate Gaza Executive Board was being formed that would help support governance and include some of the same names as the former Executive Board, as well as further appointees. The US peace plan came into force in October and has since entered its second phase, but there remains a lack of clarity about the future of Gaza and the 2.1 million Palestinians who live there. That used to be 2.5 million before the fucking Israelis bombed everything into the ground. Under Phase 1, Hamas and Israel agreed a ceasefire in October, as well as hostage prisoner exchange, a partial Israeli withdrawal, and an aid surge. Early this week, Whitaker said Phase 2 would see the reconstruction and full demilitarization of Gaza, including the dismantling of Hamas and other Palestinian groups. The US expects Hamas to comply fully with its obligations, he warned, noting that including the return of bodies of the last dead Israeli hostage, failure to do so will bring serious consequences. However, the ceasefire is fragile, and both sides accuse each other of responding with violence. Bollocks, Israel has taken out several bombings recently, as in the last couple of weeks. It's just not been major news. Look, you have to dig for that kind of information. Almost 450 Palestinians have been killed in Israel strikes since it came into force. There you go, 450 Palestinians dead since the ceasefire has been imposed by Israel, according to Gaza Hamas-run health minister, who has been genuinely quite accurate. Whilst the Israeli military says that 3 of its soldiers have been killed in attacks by Palestinian groups during the same period. So 3 Israelis die, 450 Palestinian civilians. Do you see a problem with the mathematics here?
I bet you any money those 3 that died were literally
shooting civilians, probably.
Them probably trying to defend themselves against it. Like the Palestinians trying to defend themselves against the Israelis.
Yeah, absolutely. The war in Gaza was triggered by a Hamas-led attack on southern Israel, 7th of October 2023, in which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were taken hostages. More than 71,000 people have been killed in Israel's attacks in Gaza since then, according to the territory Hamas's run health ministry. It's more than 71,000. It's 71,000 that we can record. Just Tony Blair being involved in anything in peace is a fucking oxymoron. The man should have his knighthood stripped and barred from representing Britain under any circumstances. The man is a war criminal. He is a walking, talking war criminal. He took us into the Iraq war that led to 2 million dead Iraqis, tens of thousands of dead British soldiers, the birth of ISIS. I mean, what the fuck else do you need to have this man anywhere near diplomacy? His hands are drenched in blood. What's your opinion of Blair?
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Just purely due to everything that he's done over the past couple of years. He's trying to right the wrongs that he's done. If anyone actually just pays just simple attention, you'd know it's true.
Not to mention the fact that he's fucking worked for
Russia. And he's pushing for the digital ID, so his son could turn around and profit because it's his company that turn around will take control of it. So it's the only thing I think of Tony Blair is he's a snake in the grass.
It needs to be shot.
It needs to be decapitated.
Politically.
Yeah.
Not
literally.
No literal violence.
No, politically decapitated.
Over to you, my boy.
All right. Lovely. New car tax changes set to ruin Ed Miliband's plans. I find this funny, slightly. New car tax update set to come in effect for 2026 could deter drivers from switching to fully electric vehicles, which could derail Ed Miliband's and Labour's. Experts have warned that motorists are likely to put off buying electric vehicles due to the new costs in place, such as vehicle excessive duty, VED, and emission zone hikes. I wonder why. I wonder who rose taxes. And you wonder why people are turning against you, Labour. God, you got a brain cell between any of you? With less than half of a decade until the UK petrol and diesel car ban takes hold, the move threatens to blow up energy security Ed Miliband's plans. I'm sorry, but you're stupid. Speaking exclusively to the Express, Rydan Jones, motoring expert at Confused.com, warned EV drivers face hefty charges after previously being exempt. He explained, and this year could see more changes and new charges for EV drivers, who were once exempt from many things like VED and congestion zone charges. However, with these new costs in place, we could see many drivers deter from switching to EVs despite the ban on new petrol and diesel vehicles only 4 years away. I'm sorry, I see that ban actually failing. How can you ban diesel and electric vehicles? How are you going to transport frigging goods around from your lorries?
It's insane. It won't last. Yeah, it's going to end Labour as a political force if they try it.
For one, I know they're working on obviously electric lorries. Yeah,
they're not fully working.
But their range isn't very good. It's going to take at least twice as long to get any deliveries done. Yeah, how about making them more safer to use and more economically friendly on the stuff that we got than trying to just replace it with EV? Yeah, why not hybrid? That's the best of both worlds.
You're gonna have to do it in stages. You can't push 120 years worth of infrastructure, which is what the world is built. It's built 120 years of petrol infrastructure.
Ed Miliband's department has been crucial in pushing motorists to switch to EVs, with officials still handing out grants to people who buy certain electric models back in 2021. Miliband claimed that the country needed to make electric vehicle ownerships affordable for people. New price hikes will go against this. Standard VED fees will rise from £190 to £195 per year. In April, while first-year rates for EVs will stay the same, electric car owners in London are set to face a blow, with EV paying the congestion charge for the first time ever as of January. Fees are slightly lower than for the petrol or diesel cars, but motorists will still pay out up to £13.50 per day to get behind the wheel. 2026 will see a 1% increase in company car benefit in kind rates for electric vehicles, with EVs now paying 4%. Despite the crucial update, the move looks to have gone unnoticed, with just 13% of 2,000 surveyed admitting they were aware of the new rule. This is also a lack of awareness around any key change, which is set to be positive for EV consumers. According to Confused.com, only 33% of 2,000 drivers surveyed said they were aware of an increase in luxury car tax. I see a crucial word here. Luxury car tax. Yeah. Thresholds in 2026. The move will mean cars only pay for expensive car supplement ECG charge if their model is valued over 50,000, not 40,000. I've seen the price of cars keep going up. It's only
the price of cars are outrageous as it is. As it is, it's difficult for young people to get into the car market now.
I'm sorry, but trying to make everyone switch to EV cars, well, going by this, they want it to 2030. Yeah, you're trying to wipe out 120 plus years of how the world has worked in getting around to EV when you haven't, for one, haven't got the infrastructure to support it. That's already been proven. Yeah, because of the fact you need to invest in energy systems in order to support the EV grid. Yeah.
If everyone was using electrical cars now, Chris, the entire power grid would collapse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You haven't got the infrastructure to support what you're trying to push. Yeah. If anything, I would try and say make sure you got the support system in place by 2030, and then make it a 20-year plan to convert everyone to EV. And that is very simply by just turning around and going, right, so you're not allowed to sell just petrol or diesel cars anymore. They have to be hybrid. And then after so many years, then turn around and go, right, it's now EV. You're slowly phasing it out because that's the only way it's going to work, because it will give you a chance to build the infrastructure.
Their target is 2020, is 2035.
Yeah, it's still not going to work.
And AI just said to me that they're probably 10 years out. It's probably more like 2045.
Yeah. Hence the reason why I say invest in the infrastructure before you try making a push. Because if you haven't got the infrastructure, everything's going to collapse. It is. I think it's pure common sense. If you want to push for something, you need to build the infrastructure first. But, oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. Tory doesn't believe in doing that, does it?
The grid capacity is nowhere near requirement, even for the current EV cars. Even for the current EV cars to drive everywhere. Of which Britain is believed to only have around 11 to 12% of mobile vehicles are EVs.
11 to 12% of vehicles are EV cars.
And they're straining the grid now.
And they haven't got the capacity to run that. I see if you try pushing everyone to EV within 4 years, you will completely collapse.
No, it's 35.
No, 35.
It is nearly 10. It is nearly 10 years.
Yeah, all right, 9 years. But I still don't think that's doable. You need to you need to have the grid fully operational before you can turn.
But the industry, no. But there are a lot of private investors planning on ultra rapid changing power gridding. The only problem that is holding them back is the lack of power reactors, the lack of actual energy.
That's what I mean.
So the investors are there. Yeah. The investors are there to build the pumps, the electric pumps, basically, the charging stations.
But that still falls within infrastructure. Yeah. There's no point in having people ready to build the chargers if you haven't got the infrastructure, which is the power stations, to run it. Yeah.
We are struggling to do 10 to 12% now.
See the problem, if you haven't got the power structure to support the EV grid, how are you going to run it? It is pure. Don't turn around and go, oh, we'll borrow it from everywhere else, because I very much doubt anywhere else is in any similar situation either. It's just stupid.
Though from what I'm reading on this article here from Ed Miliband, hybrid cars are not part of that ban. It's only pure petrol and pure diesel.
Now, see, that makes sense.
See, the hybrids are not on that ban.
Yeah,
because the industry, because the trucking industry says they can get to hybrid in time, they can get to the half and half, but they can't get fully electrical by that time.
Because you haven't got the range, you haven't got the power grid to support it. 9-10 years to get everyone into hybrid, I could see that doable.
Yeah, no, hybrid. I think we'll be hybrid by 2035.
Hybrid is doable. Yeah, because the fact you got the best of both worlds then.
When they're going to be testing you for your driving lessons because you're getting old. Can you see, Chris? Can you see?
No, that's over 60. Still got a while to go for that.
That's only about 10 years.
You'll hit 60 before I fucking
but I'm already mad on a motorbike. So
yeah, but they still test you for that shit on motorbikes.
They don't. We're none of these extra tests. None of us motorcyclists are on this test. I'm a ride or die till I'm dead, baby.
You've now just given me a stammer and a thing to go after now.
Fuck him. I'm going to be riding motorcycles when I've got grey hair and grey beard fucking flowing all over me. Chris is like, slow down! Well, what would you say, Mr. Hybrid Car?
No, but I'll be the one freaking driving next to you, as you say I'm a fucking lunatic on the road already. So,
No, you are. In a petrol car, you're scary.
what thinks it makes it going to be any different with a hybrid car?
Because they have collision, warning. You know the
My
AI
car,
thing? You're going to get these AIs that say, you, how dangerously driving.
I already got that shit on my car and I know it. So,
Chris's first thing getting in the EV car, off, fuck you.
I already test drove a hybrid car and I'm like, woof, I like this.
Oh, right, was that you done, my boy?
For that one, yeah.
Yeah. Reform is not a rescue charity for panicky Tory MPs.
No, it's a rehabilitation centre.
Nigel Farage has insisted Reform UK will not become the Conservative Party 2.0. You already are, motherfucker!
Hang on, no, not 2.0. How many versions now? What, 20?
Following the defection of former senior Tory Robert Jenrick, the party leader wrote in the Telegraph External that Reform was not a rescue charity for every panicky Tory MP, and any potential defectors would have to prepare to admit publicly that the previous Conservative government broke the country. Reform Deputy Leader Richard Tick told the BBC that Jenkins was a great new asset who brought ministerial experience. You were slagging him off 3 months ago! 3 months ago you were slagging him off! However, with around 24 Conservative MPs joining the party, representing the bulk of your fucking goddamn ministerial experience, in recent months, critics have argued Reform is becoming a home for failed Tories rather than a new force in British politics. They are. Farage has said his party will not accept any more defectors after the local election are held on 7th of May this year. Any Conservative MP who still clings to the hope that their party can...
Hang on, sorry. What's he been snoring?
Any Conservative MP who still clings to the hope that their party can recover and wait until May the 8th to try and leave the sinking ship does not understand how rapidly things are changing out in the country, he wrote the Telegraph. Trying to use Reform as a lifeboat to save their own political skins will not wash. We have no interest in rescuing political failures. You're the party of collecting fucking political failures. They're all from Rishi Sunak and fucking Boris Johnson's fucking cabinets.
You're contradicting yourself just by saying we're not going to take these people because I've already got them.
Senior Conservatives believe some other MPs could also defect, though they are not expecting a big wave of departures imminently. Reform also said well-known Labour figure will defect to the party next week. Former Labour MP and BritX campaigner Baroness Kate Ho, who has sat as a non-affiliated peer since 2020, is among those rumoured to be possibly defecting. She's a BritXiter. Good riddance. Asked if she could join Reform, Tick Woods, who stood in for Farage due to illness, told the BBC Sunday with Lauren Cosmo's programme that the Baroness Horry was a wonderful person and a good friend, but refused to confirm whether she would defect. Baroness Horry has not said whether she plans to defect or not, but told Sky News she had not been a Labour member for more than 8 years and was not sure I'm that well known. Some commentators have suggested senior Tory defectors could prompt power struggles within Reform, with Jenkins toasted as a possible shadow chancellor alongside with Tick and Reform head of policy Zia Youssef. Asked if he would be happy to see Jenkins as a shadow chancellor, Tick said the party had great range of talent and Farage would make his decision about different roles at the appropriate time. How politically straightforward. Jenkins joined the Reform on Thursday, hours after he was sacked from the Conservative show. You know, you got fired. That's why you jumped, motherfucker. You were seen doing dirty, wanting to bring more of your colleagues to the Reform Party. You know, did you see the quote in The Sun that day?
No.
It was brilliant front page. I don't like the Sun paper, but it had a brilliant front page. It said something like plotting Toryisms or something like that, with two robed figures stood next to Bennock. It was fucking brilliant. Really good front page. I must give the Sun its due there. Former Immigration, Housing and Health Minister Jenkins brings government experience to Reform. However, Cultural Secretary Liz Naz has said bringing in Robert Jenkins, who presided over a soaring NHS waiting list and the collapse of the criminal justice system, into the country solves the problem this country faces is like calling out the arsonist to put out the fire. His own Conservative buyer now getting the knives out. Conservative leader Kevin Bennock has claimed her party was strong and more united since Jenkins left, saying he was not a team player. And also someone's previously said it was like the Reformer doing the spring cleaning for us. Let's be fair about this. Let me be critical fair about this. I don't like the way the Conservative Party has drifted. Me and Chris are ex-Conservatives. I'm not even afraid to say that. And I don't think Chris is either.
No.
We're ex-Conservatives. We have problems with the way the Conservative Party is now. There is no fucking chance either of us would ever vote reform. Ever vote reform. They're the Nazi Party of Britain, for fuck's sake. I'm warming to Kemi Badenoch. I'm warming to her more and more as the months go by. You?
She's making some interesting, funny digs at everybody else. But to be quite honest, at this current stage, the only thing I'll say is if the country did go back to Conservative to Kemi Badenoch, it will only be jumping one bad ship to another bad ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We need to find a different ship entirely.
If the leader of the Liberal Democrats gets his shit together, and actually sorts out...
I don't care if it's Liberal Democrats, just someone that has actually got the head screwed on.
And that's not reform. Let's be fair. Reform is not a party the country can land its feet on.
Someone that's got the head screwed on, has a plan in place, which isn't going to stick us in fucking even more financial debt, Rachel Reeves, and raise tax into fucking astronomical levels.
You mean future Prime Minister, Rachel Reeves? I'm going to give him a fucking ulcer. She's a possible party leader once he goes. He's going. Let's be fair. We both know he's going.
She's going fucking with him. I'm sorry, but someone who's risen taxes, completely broke every single fucking tax rule to make us less in pocket, yeah? I'm sorry, you don't deserve to be fucking Prime Minister.
Oh my God.
Yeah? If you actually
Bring back Angela Rayner.
No, not her either.
Guys, I'm trolling.
Hang on, sorry. If she actually paid her frigging goddamn, what was it?
Her housing tax.
Her housing tax, then we may be able to speak in terms. But the moment she's fucking out and all, frigging Mr. Dodge the fucking bill, yeah? All of us have to pay the fucking bill, so do fucking you. Yeah? Basicness.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Oh, nice, lovely, entertaining one. I thought this was quite entertaining and informative at the same time. Yeah. It's it. I'm not going to lie. I chuckled when I read this. Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis triggered by aliens. And this isn't from any sketchy paper. This is actually from The Independent.
It's a slow day in politics.
Yeah. The UK must plan for a financial crisis that would be triggered if the US government announces that aliens exist, a former Bank of England expert has said. Helen McCaw, who served as senior analyst in financial security at the UK's central bank, has written to Andrew Bailey, the Bank of England's governor, urging him to set out a contingency in case the White House ever confirms the existence of alien life, according to the Times. Ms. McCaw, who worked for the Bank of England for 10 years until 2012, said politicians and bankers can no longer afford to dismiss talk of alien life, and warned a declaration of this nature could trigger bank collapses. She reportedly said the United States government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of technology advanced non-human intelligence responsible for unidentified anomalies phenomena, UAPs. Oh, sorry, this is just rather enlightening and entertaining at the same time. If the UAP proves to be of non-human origin, we may have to acknowledge the existence of a power of intelligence greater than any government and will potentially unknown intentions. Her warning comes as senior American officials have recently indicated their belief in the possibility of alien life. In recent UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure, 34 US government insiders, included those from military intelligence community officials, were spoken to about an 80-year global cover-up of non-human intelligent life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer advanced technology of non-human origin, according to the film's description. The director, Dan Farr, spoke with sources including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, New York Democrat Senator Christian Gillibrand and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper to discuss the government's work with UAPs, the formal term for UFOs. Makarubon told the documentary maker, "We had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours." Ms. McCall said UAP's disclosure is likely to induce what?
Panic, probably. What are you looking at?
On a telecical shock.
On a telecical
shock.
Wow.
And provoke
psychological
responses with material consequences that might be extreme price volatility in financial markets due to catastrophic or euphoric and a collapse in confidence in the market participants, fully uncertain how the price assets using any of the familiar methods. The former Bank of England worker explained there might be a rush towards assets such as gold and other precious metals and government bonds which are perceived as safe. Alternatively, she said precious metals might lose their status as perceived safe assets if the people stipulate the new space-faring technologies will soon increase the supply of precious metals. That is rather interesting, the fact that she has an entire article and plan to try to push a contingency in case of aliens are confirmed to exist. I'm going to open up the cupboard door, the little door here, the unknown door. Do you think aliens exist?
Yes, I podcast with one. He's probed me before. Oh, fuck me. I can't go.
You opened up that door. You take responsibility for the comments that come from that.
Yeah. People don't get this far into our podcast. How many people do you think get this far into our podcast?
If this takes off because of that, it's your own fucking doing.
Absolutely. Fucking care. Yeah.
I'm going to say, I reckon there is alien life, but
I don't think it's ever come to us.
I reckon they've flown by, seen us and gone, fuck that, and fucked off again.
I don't know the technology that would allow us to travel faster than light. I think the practicality of it for a carbon life form to move faster than light, which is what is required to move across the galaxy, in any kind of short-term period.
If they were to do it, I reckon there'd be more a case of they've developed the technology of wormholes.
Yeah, but then we would detect them. A wormhole is not small.
Yeah, but if they've developed the technology
to build wormholes,
they would have developed the technology to mask the wormhole.
How do you mask something with that energy signature?
Well, ask the people that fucking developed it to start off with.
No, Chris, I don't think you can't mask nuclear reactors. You can't mask nuclear reactors.
That's how do you know they're using a nuclear reactor? How do you know
No, Chris, I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. In today's society,
but you're basing it off our technology.
Yes, because physics is physics!
Yeah, but no, you're basing it off our technology, our understanding of physics. How do you know they haven't received further things?
This is a fucking can of worms. Let's move on.
Hence the reason why I said, do you think they exist?
Yes, I work with one.
Yeah. I honestly think they're not from outer space. If there is, as we call it, humanoid life, extra humanoid life, I reckon it's coming from the depth.
They think that the most intelligent species in the galaxy is more likely to be crustacean, as in like crabs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I reckon if it's
not from Earth, but specifically from outer space. They say that crustacean life evolvement is probably one of the greatest. I don't know where. I think it was one of Asimov's books I was reading.
Yeah.
The crustaceans. So this might be out of date. The crustacean life form is the most likely because of how likely water planets are to be more prolific than land-based planets. Something like that. So it's more likely that there's going to be a liquid-based life form.
Yeah.
That would have more of a crustacean-based society, as in similar to super crabs, lobsters, super intelligent creatures like that.
Yeah, but I reckon if we was to discover another non-human species, it's going to come from our depths in our sea, because how much of our sea is undocumented?
No, I don't think the aliens have been down to our sea.
No, I don't reckon it's. You say aliens as if it's a obviously a different life form, which it will be, but it'll be based on our own planet. It won't come from space, it'll come from beneath. I reckon it's in beneath.
You are one hell of a conspiracy theorist.
No, because think of how life evolved on this planet. Where did we come from?
Let's say, theoretically. If you believe in evolution.
Yeah, I'm going to say, if we go along that path, evolution, we come from the sea. So what's saying we haven't already evolved in the sea?
Anyway, my last subject. Trump's tariffs threat to Greenland is a golden opportunity for Starmer to return to Europe. So says the Independent. This isn't my opinion. This is the Independent. I just thought it was a good piece.
Starmer, if you do that, you will be immediately...
Not necessarily. A lot of the country might support this. The Dutch has called it blackmail, and Britain says it's wrong. But Spain is the country that has the best spilt out the treachery of Donald Trump's threats of tariffs against his allies to force Greenland into his kingdom. Spain's Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, said that if Trump invaded Greenland, it would make Vladimir Putin the happiest man on earth. The EU and the UK are in emergency talks on how to face Trump's latest threats of a 10% tariff on goods from 8 countries unless Greenland is sold to the US. The tariffs are to rise to 25% on June the 1st. Trump is a business buffoon. His companies have gone bankrupt 6 times, and he's failed to launch an airline and a university, and lost his shirt in casinos. He is also ignorant of basic economics. He has repeatedly described tariffs, which are paid by US consumers and businesses in dollars in the US at the point of importing of foreign goods, as a subsidy. The reality is that if he forces up the prices of goods for 8 countries through duties, some of the rise will be carried by the producers, some by the middleman, and in most cases the majority of it by the consuming Americans. Trump is impervious to this reality, just as he's impervious to the advice from long-standing allies that if he smashes NATO, the US will be vulnerable to the very threats from China and Russia that he claims he wants to protect against by bringing Greenland into the US. Britain has stood by its NATO comments and stands sent one officer as a token presence of a token European military mission to Greenland, as the UK has negotiated 10% tariffs with Trump via the EU's 15%. It has little more to lose in a declining UK trade, but it is a huge amount to gain economically, culturally, and now in terms of its security if the crisis caused by Trump is seized as an opportunity for Britain to rejoin the EU on terms that bind the UK to the mainland. See, now this is where I disagree. We should get back in economics. We should have access to the single market. We should probably link our militaries together at this point, considering how volatile the world is. So I think of a 2 to 3 stage closeness. You might only want one. You might only want us to be part of the single market, not so militarily.
I'm going to say definitely a part of the market. The military is in collaboration with each other. Political wise, where Brussels say what the fuck we should do, you can go fuck off.
Yeah. If the crisis caused by Trump is seized as an opportunity for Britain to rejoin the EU on terms that bind the UK to the mainland, this would make both parties safer and stop Putin from dancing a happy jig around the Kremlin. Remember, our military is the reason that fucker went into Ukraine. We being 2 nuclear powers in Europe was the reason that he has been quoted as saying that. So us, when we leave Europe, he was emboldened by it. Britain was asked to stump up at least 4 to 6 billion as the price of membership. Canada has only paid 20 million, but the UK would have been a full partner, not a third-party country with limited access to the funds. Britain would have been able to benefit enormously from the cherry-picking of the EU facilities without having to go for political integration, which is why the EU set the fee so high. But that was years ago. In Trump time, last December on our calendars. The EU needs Britain's arms industries, and Britain needs the EU's economical and security blanket. The UK arms forces are small and impoverished, with their chief saying that they face a 28 billion funding shortfall.
That to me sounds like a deal.
According to the recently report by the Centre for Economic Policy by 2025, we estimate the UK GDP per capita was 6 to 8% lower than it would have been without Brexit. Investment was 12 to 18% lower, employment 3 to 4% lower, and potentially 3 to 4% lower again. Productivity. Other estimates put Britain losing at lower levels, but there can be no doubt that Brexit has been a strategic economical failure across the entire board. The Europeans are not having an easy run either. Per capita GDP growth from the UK from 2016 has been 4.5%, Germany is almost flatlined at 3.6%, and France is at 7.5%. The EU's top diplomat, Kajika, has said the US tariffs would hit both sides of the Greenland debate, but was a distraction from the core task of ending Russia's war in Ukraine. China and Russia must be having a field day. They are the ones who are benefiting from the division among allies, Kayla said on X. Tariffs risk making Europe and the United States poorer and undermining our shared prosperity. If Greenland's security is at risk, we can address this inside NATO, she said. The EU needs help from the UK to do that. Britain has much to give the EU. We do. Our armed forces are one of the strongest forces in Europe, and military industries would accelerate the improvement of the bloc security. Trump's attacks on the very existence of NATO, his contempt for Europe in general, and his continual support for Putin lands grab means that the UK could negotiate better terms for re-entry the EU now than it would have done before the US president tore up international law and turned on the US's old friends. The Greenland crisis is Britain's best opportunity. We would need to fully rejoin.
By the sounds of it, we are in a very good position
to negotiate an open right. Our military industries, our military assets, our nukes, our support for the market.
Yeah, I was going to say that we got an opportunity where we can help Europe and Europe can help us in a mutual beneficial agreement.
Yeah, we militarily support them.
We get back into the EU market, which will benefit both of us anyway. We help them militarily, which will empower the entire EU
economy.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, actually.
I see a win-win here, because then if we join
in that regards to the independence is right.
Yeah.
But not a full-scale reintegration, because there is a lot of reasons why Britain left.
Yeah.
Sovereignty is one of them. I'm not necessarily agreeing with the sovereignty argument, but it's one that Chris holds very dear to him. Law writing, that's something that me and Chris both agree with, should only happen in Westminster.
Yes.
We do not agree with any of our laws being written, even if they're being written with approval of British lawmakers. They still, in our sovereignistical mindset, our laws need to be written in Westminster. However fucking useless our politicians are, it's a point of social principle. So, single market, yes. Military support, yes, to each other. But Britain needs to negotiate a return to Europe that benefits all sides. And doesn't lead to us becoming part of
Brussels out of our freaking business.
Yes. Brussels needs to learn that it can't dictate to London what goes on internally to Britain.
I think it needs to learn it can't dictate what goes on with others.
It doesn't. That's the problem. Have you back over to your one, I believe, boy.
Our lovely last one. Latest update on digital ID.
This is not as good as everyone makes it out to be. I've heard a lot of positive. Oh, we've won. We haven't.
We've won. I'm going to phrase this very carefully. We have won a battle. We have not won the war.
No, we haven't.
Government U-turns on mandatory digital ID cards for workers. Last year, the government said it would be compulsory to have digital ID for right to work in the UK. I'll explain why this is a double-edged knife, because of the fact they may have they've sidestepped it, and they'll go into detail with it in a minute. The government has abandoned plans to make digital ID cards mandatory for workers just months after Sir Keir Starmer proudly announced them. Sky News understands digital IDs will no longer be required for the right to work by the end of this parliament set for 2029. Last year, the government had said it will be compulsory as a way of reducing illegal working. It's already been proven that is false. A government spokesperson said on Tuesday, we are committed to mandatory digital right to work checks. This is where the other side comes in. They've sidestepped. Currently, right to work checks include a hodgepodge of paper-based systems with no record of checks ever taking place. This is open to fraud and abuse. If anything, this is the way they should have gone in the first place.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. We have always been clear that details on digital ID scheme will be set out following a full public consultation, which will launch shortly. Digital ID will make everyone's lives easier for people, ensuring public safety and more personal, joined up and effective, while also remain inclusive. According to the Times, that while right to work checks will still be mandatory, the other forms of documentation such as electronic visa or a passport will be valid, not just digital ID. Get that? This is where we've won. Yeah, this is the battle we've won. Yeah, we've made it so that even though the right to work checks are still there, they're just updating it, and they're still making it so electronic visas and passports can be used alongside digital ID. Yeah. Well, I'll say alongside / instead of digital ID. So you don't have to have a digital ID card in order to do a right to work check. Yeah. Cabinet Minister Hadi Alexander told Mornings with Ridge and Frost that the government remains committed to having mandatory digital right to work checks in this country, and explained that people will be able to use things like digital chips in their passports instead of a digital ID. The U-turns pile up. Just 4 months ago, Sir Keir said you will not be able to work in the UK if you don't have a digital ID. It is as simple as that. He said the scheme would make it tougher to work illegally in this country, making our borders more secure. The government has previously said anyone starting a job or renting a home would need to show the digital ID on their phone, and it would then be checked against the database of those entitled to work and live here. The Conservatives accused Sir Keir Starmer of spinelessness, while the Lib Dems said the plan was doomed to failure. It is the 13th U-turn by this government. Tory Shadow Cabinet Officer Minister Mike Wood said what was sold as a tough measure to tackle illegal working is now set to become yet another costly, ill-thought-out experiment abandoned at the first sign of pressure from Labour backbenchers. Lib Dem Cabinet Officer spokesperson Lisa Smart MP added it was clear right from the start this was a proposal doomed to failure that would have cost obscene amounts of taxpayers' money to deliver absolutely nothing.
We need to bury the whole bill.
Yeah.
We need to bury the whole bill.
Let's get it right. It is a battle we have won, not the war. There's still a war to be done. I'm sorry to say this. We're going to lose the war. And that is purely because of the fact we're already in the digital era. It's now a case of the fact of not trying to get rid of digital ID. It is now a war of who controls digital ID. Yeah, let's get that right, people. It is not a case of trying to get rid of it. It is now a case of who's going to control it.
I want to get rid of it. I do want to get rid of it.
As much as you would want to get rid of it, you're already living in it. Because did you not hear what I said?
Yeah, I did.
Passports these days contain chips in it, which is a form of digital identification. So you already have one if you travel.
But I don't use my passport every day.
Yeah, but you still have a form of digital ID because you have a passport. Yeah? So people are saying you want to get rid of digital identity. Digital identity is already here. It is now a case of who controls it. Yeah? We need to get this set and clear amongst everybody. It is here. We need to battle on who controls it.
The individual who owns the ID.
Not
Big
try to get rid of it.
If
we try to get rid of it, we will backpedal ourselves. Yeah? I know some people will like that, but I
don't think that's a bad thing, Chris. Maybe it's because I'm middle-aged. I don't think the idea of having less digital footprint is a bad thing.
Yeah, but this is where we control who controls it, fight for who controls it. Because if we keep it sort of fact that the government can view our digital ID, but we control it ourselves in one form or another, because there's several forms which we could do that, we can then turn around and determine what we put on our digital identifications. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah? That is what we're fighting for these days. It's how it is controlled, not the fact that it exists. Yeah.
See, I'm one of those dinosaurs that believes in backpedaling towards digital ID. I think you retain more privacy by the lack of digital footprint. But that's just my opinion.
Obviously, the fun facts about this of what has actually changed regarding digital ID. It's been widely reported that the government has U-turned on proposals to require mandatory digital ID for right-to-work checks in the UK, less than 4 months after the plans were first announced. Various news stories have said the government has dropped, scrapped or abandoned plans for compulsory digital ID workers, while some other houses reported the announcement at the latest in a series of government U-turns. Yet a series of ministers have insisted that there will still be mandatory digital checks on right to work. At the Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Sir Keir said there will be checks, they will be digital, and they will be mandatory. The Chancellor Rachel Reeves has also claimed on BBC Breakfast that the stories about a U-turn have been overwritten, while The Guardian reported the officials said it was not a U-turn. This is something I need to clarify again. We've won a battle, not a war. They have sidestepped it. Yeah, they're going a different route.
And we need to be wary about this, because I don't trust my government. I don't trust any government currently.
Yeah.
I don't trust the political leaders we currently have. They are not good for the United Kingdom or its people.
They've sidestepped it and changed the course at which they want to go. Hence the reason why I'm saying this is a battle of who controls, not the fact that it exists. Yeah. In September, the government announced that it was launching a new form of digital ID that will, by the end of the Parliament in 2029, this specific new form of digital ID will be mandatory for right-to-work checks in the UK. We explained what was being processed in more detail. At the time, the government said the digital ID will be stored directly on people's own devices, like contactless payment cards or the NHS app today. Adding the new digital ID will be authoritative proof of who someone is and their residency status in this country. Setting out the plans in the Parliament in Science, Innovation, Technology, Security, Liz Kendall said in October, our digital ID will be mandatory for right-to-work checks by the end of the Parliament. The government has published full details of how its policy has now changed, and the government spokesperson has reportedly said the details of digital ID scheme will be set out following a full public consultation, which will launch shortly. What did he call shortly? But broadcast interviews with a number of ministers said of the change in policy have given us some understanding of what's happening. The government has said it is still proceeding with plans to require some form of digital identification for right to work. This is where the passports and everything else comes in. Yeah.
Well, you need to use passports now, don't you?
Yeah. Right to work. However, crucially, it now says that instead of only the new digital ID scheme announced in September being valid for these checks, other forms of digital ID will now also be accepted. Yeah, I want to emphasise other forms of digital ID.
So they're not getting rid of this one itself.
No, they're making this a
optional
choice. Yeah, because of the fact you already have, passport, have a digital ID. Yeah.
Whether it's your national insurance number, your passport, even your birth certificates nowadays are digital.
Yeah. In other words, where previously the government has said that it's a new digitalised scheme will be mandatory for anyone who wanted a pass to right to work by the end of the Parliament, that is no longer the case. Chancellor Rachel Reeves told BBC Breakfast, we are saying that you will need a mandatory digital ID and able to be working in the UK. Now the difference is whether will have to be a new piece of ID, a digital ID card, or whether it can be an e-visa or an e-passport, and we're pretty relaxed about what form that takes. Now, see, this is what I don't get. Dave could have saved all this hassle
and the political capital that comes with it
by simply saying we are updating the methods of your right to work within the UK. We are introducing a new form of digital ID, but it will still, other forms like your passport and your e-visa will still be valid. Yeah? They should have gone that route. I can guarantee you the public would not have kicked off so much. There still would have been backlash, but not as much as what it has been going on. They've misled us.
Oh, they're always misleading us.
They've caused unnecessary stress and worry. Yeah? Because this also means now, obviously, like the older generations, which aren't so technologically used to it, or savvy, as some people call, will still have an e-visa or e-passport, which most of the time these days come with a chip anyway, and a physical copy, will still be able to go about their normal lives. Yeah. Transport Secretary Hendy Alexander MP simply said, we're absolutely committed to mandatory digital ID right to work checks, and that hasn't changed, adding that the digital ID announced in September could be one way in which to prove your eligibility to work through a digital right to work check, but that another type of digital ID check could be, for example, a biometric chip in a passport. Seeing as most passports have that these days, we've already given and we already use them and everything else. The government spokesperson told the BBC, we are committed to mandatory digital right to work checks. We've asked the Cabinet Office a series of questions about what the changes reported today mean for overall scheme. We have yet to receive a response, but we'll update this article if we do.
Well, I mean, I agree with Chris. That's we haven't won yet. We need to work out. We need to wrestle control over who controls our digital ID. I broadly agree with what Chris's points are. He's always the one that's always held the fight for the digital ID point of view, and he's right. I mean, I'm old-fashioned. I believe we should go back. I believe less digital footprint is a good thing. I'm not saying that I'm in the minority. I'm probably in the minority, aren't I?
Probably.
Yeah. I just genuinely feel that Britain is rushing towards this digital footprint far too quickly.
I say the way obviously technology and everything is advancing, we are heading. Well, not heading. We are already in the digital era.
Yeah.
Example is this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Walking example of that. I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
John's having a dumb moment.
Obviously, as I said, we've won a battle on how affects obviously what form of digital IDs are required. Yeah. We have won on that front. That is a positive win. We should celebrate that, but we should not stick our heads in the sand.
Thinking that victory is over.
That it's over. It's not. It is the first of many battles we're
going to have
face.
to have. Yeah.
Yeah. It is now literally come clear. It is now a case of battling of who controls the digital information now. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because obviously there are several ways you could go about it. It could be completely independent, where you sign it to a site and you control it via, like everything else, like your bank and everything else, where you need a code, passport, password, face identification, and all that in order to access it. Or whether we go, for example, like an Ofcom sort of thing, where there's one industry which has all that info. I don't
trust anything. It was a centralisation on that.
I have a distinct feeling that is where we're going to have the fight with, because the fact that they're probably going to go, well, we need it within the government. We're going to say, fuck you. Yeah, there's no good. There's not going to be another answer apart from "fuck you." You ain't having it. Yeah, and then they'll potentially turn around and say, "What about a public entity?" Will turn around, and I reckon that's
going to be a mark.
That's going to be where I think there's going to be a split. Some be like, "Okay, I'm okay with that," and others are still going to say, "Fuck you."
And Chris is in the "fuck you" camp.
I'm in a case of digital identification needs to stay solely with the person. There should be a database naturally.
And if I have to have it, I'm with Chris in that regard.
Yeah. There should be a database which we control how we access it.
Yes.
Yeah. Whether that's via Face ID, password, in any form, biometrics, which unfortunately the world has got biometrics already. So might as well embrace it and use that to our advantage.
This is a very good point.
Yeah.
But this has been a brilliant podcast today. Thank you all for coming. For all of those of you who make it to the end of our podcast, we do appreciate it. I know I made a joke about 20 minutes ago about how many people get here, but those of you who make it to the end, as always, we love you and thank you very kindly. To all 1,183 of you as of this morning, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm John, Sean or Yaka, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris, I hope you have a smashing day.
And this is your voice, your nation, the blue collar workers. Have a lovely day.